All right, let's go. All right, Tim. And I know we're going to start with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Right, but before we get started, I just want to say this is our 200th podcast.
It is.
Yep, they said it wouldn't last 10, and we hit 5 million downloads.
We were picked, remember?
Our first year, we were picked
Best
of Apple, one of the best new podcasts in Apple.
Dad, you wouldn't have known 3 years ago what a podcast was, would you have?
I still don't know. No, I can't have an idea what the podcast is.
Yeah. So I have to say, though, Dad, before we get to talk about the Leafs, we're just how people are saying, that there's no fighting in hockey. So let's just look or in the playoffs, right? So let's look. There's been 10 fights in the playoffs so far.
And good ones, too.
Good ones. And those are like dropping the gloves. Like, they're not the scrums. There's probably been 1,000 scrums. 3 guys fined a maximum 5,000.
Yeah.
And 3 suspensions.
Well, it'll go less and less. And when you get to the finals, there won't be any fighting. They'll be afraid.
Yes. So, yeah, you can even see it.
Extra 2. They're afraid of getting that extra 2.
Yeah. Well, you could see that even last night. So what'd you think, Dad? But we watched last night, Game 6. Leafs in Tampa. So.
Well, it comes down to the goalies, Tim. Vasilevsky was not Vasilevsky of past. I hate to say it, but I don't know what happened. He got hurt or something. Whatever it was, he was not the game. He was not the same.
No, I think Samsonov. Samsonov, the Leafs goalie, outplayed him almost every game.
Samsonov played a great series. The goaltenders are the ones that decide the game.
Yeah, I noticed that you hear all the analysts go on and this and that, but at the end of the day,
it's the goaltenders.
It's the goaltenders.
So will he be back next year?
I don't think so.
No.
Because he's got a $1 million contract and for 1 year with the Leafs, because he was supposed to be the backup to Murray.
Yeah.
And they got Murray for another 2
Murray banged his head there.
Yeah, so he was hurt. It'd been interesting if Murray didn't get hurt, if they would have played Murray or Samsonov.
They'd have played Murray.
You think so?
Oh, you're paying the dough, you'd start him anyhow.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I would say everybody's happy. And by the way, I picked the Leafs by the first round.
Yeah. I think that this might be the Leafs' hardest series.
Boston maybe.
Yes. Well, this is Sunday morning. Tonight, Boston plays Panthers.
Well, we're banking. We're saying Boston's getting by.
How about their celebration? I can't imagine them if they won the Stanley Cup that they could be any more happier than the celebration that went on after that goal.
Well, Cindy, it's been a long time.
19 years.
19 years since they got by the first round, and I shouldn't say it, but some of the ways they didn't get by the first round would break your heart.
I know, because they were up 3-1, and you just wonder if Tampa would have won that last night, Game 7, if it would have been too much pressure on the Leafs.
Well, I don't know.
It's good for the economy, though.
Oh,
the restaurants do well.
Restaurants, everybody's going to do good. I remember one time when Tampa won, I think it was Tampa, and I went outside. We wouldn't even know anybody won anything. They just streamed outside, got in their cars, and drove home. I can't believe the crowds outside the buildings.
Yeah.
I can't believe they stand the whole time. That's what I'm thinking. How could they stand for the whole game?
Oh, they don't stand. They have a lot of fun.
Well, the funny thing is, too, is that Toronto doesn't let them in the arena, but Winnipeg did, and so did Edmonton.
I don't know why. It must be insurance or something.
But I mean, the thing is, the money or, the canteens and the concession stands alone, they make a ton of money for what they charge.
Police don't need any more money.
Oh, yeah, this is true. No bottom line. So, Dad, I don't know, the way the celebration went, do you think the Leafs were just happy to get past the first round? It's going to be anticlimactic after this.
Well, there was a lot of guys on that team that never were around here when they got beat out. And like you said, I think this could be their toughest series.
Yeah, well, 3 overtime games, and they won all 3 on the road. If Tampa scores those 3 goals, they win in 5 games.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
So it's something. Well,
it's too bad. I picked the Leafs to win the series, and we'll end at that. Well, it was nice to see you. By the way, I picked Edmonton too. I just thought I'd throw that in there.
Yeah.
Boy, when they in L.A., when they get out in there and that crowd gets going, that's a pretty funny crowd.
Well, you said that when you coached the Bruins, and it was in the Forum, that was one of the loudest buildings.
Loudest building I ever was in was the old, what were they called?
The
Forum. Holy Dinah, they was all steel. They'd stamp their feet. You had to yell on the bench. Anyhow, good fans, and they're packed all the time.
So again, though, Dad, Skinner was the difference, I have to say.
I don't care what you say. Who's ever got the hottest goalie wins. And, of course, we had the hot goalie, but against the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah,
Throw that out the window with 77 or 76 Canadians. Holy Dinah.
Yeah, but even last night's game was really good. I mean, Edmonton came up and the Kings came back.
Yeah.
Last night, that goal that tied it up, Edmonton, if you didn't see it, Edmonton is on a power play. So LA ices the puck. Skinner goes out and gets the puck, and he's just kind of la-di-da. They're up by a goal. You know, they're on
what
the
a feeling that must have been.
power play. He goes to pass it to Nurse, and his stick breaks. And it goes right to an LA player, and he ties the game up.
Was it too much pressure that he put on
No,
the stick?
it was-
It must have been cracked.
No, it was cracked.
He didn't notice the crack.
He didn't know. But what a feeling that must have been.
Yeah, he
When
tried to
you
look.
you look down and it's broken and you go to pass it.
Yeah, and they scored, but Edmonton came back and won it.
Yeah, they got the old heart.
But you know what, though, Dad? I just think, you talk about the Leafs, but that power play with Edmonton now, they were struggling a little bit at the start, but now they're clicking.
When Toronto puts that 4 with making 44 million, it's pretty tough to stop them. But same as when you put Draisaitl and McDavid on, I don't care who you're on with, they're the two best hockey players in the world.
So you can't take penalties against them.
No, you get penalties against them. They put on those two guys. It's tough.
So after every game, they always want to hear what McDavid has to say. And can I ask you, does the rest of the team sort of resent that they're always going to McDavid? Like, obviously, with the Bruins.
I remember one time I got a call. Tom Fitzgerald, the only guy I know that used to.
I think he was with the Boston Globe, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he was at the Boston Globe. Boy, he was a tough, crusty little. He was
a real journalist.
He was, yeah.
He's not like today's guys. He was a real journalist.
Did he ever give it to me? I'm sick and tired, and he says we're all sick and tired of you. And sick and tired of what? I can't. Because I never went in the dressing room after the game. What happened was Bobby would go in the trainer's room, and the rest of the guys would go too, because he went, and there'd be nobody in the dressing room for the guys to interview. And he was sick of the whole thing.
Well, he was mad, especially because everybody wanted to talk to Bobby, right?
Yeah, everybody wanted to talk to Bobby.
So did the players resent that?
And so that answers your question, Cindy. Yes, they do get sick of it. You're interviewed so much, you have to get better.
Well, John Tavares is great. I mean, he's the perfect captain for the Toronto Maple Leafs, John Tavares. Not knocking him, but he can talk for 10 minutes and not say a word.
He was pretty good last night.
Yeah, he
was good last night.
And
you know what I really liked? Excuse me, Tim. You know what I really liked was that they both had shirts and ties on. They just looked classy.
Yeah, Tavares and
Riley.
Riley, yeah.
They both had shirts and ties on, and the rest
they looked professional. They look good.
I don't know how they get dressed.
I think that's after the game.
Well, it's after the game, but you think they'd be sweating and everything. They were in there and they looked professional, and I don't know, it just looked good.
Well, they're dressed like a winner. You win games, right?
Yeah, I remember one time. Did I tell the story about Ottawa?
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, but
anyhow,
this is a long time ago.
Both of them were out of the playoffs. Ottawa was out of the playoffs, and I think Florida was out of the playoffs.
Yeah,
they were out of the playoffs. And one of them, and most of them were dressed,
Well, because you always used to show the players. Walking.
No, I didn't before that, Tim.
Before the game, you used to show a lot of the players.
And they were walking, and they had pea jackets on, I think.
Well, they had the knit caps. They didn't have ties on, and They look slovenly.
Yeah, so, and I remember the Ottawa really got mad. I said they look like a bunch of thugs, and coming into the game, and and they went to the National Hockey League about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But then you showed Crosby.
Yeah,
then you showed Crosby and Lundqvist walking in.
Oh yeah.
You said, look at these guys in the playoffs. Dress sharp. You play sharp. And look at these thugs. Look like thugs walking in out of the playoffs.
So I never said anything, and they said, "You called us thugs." I said, "I didn't call you thugs." I said, "You look like thugs." So from then on, we showed guys walking in, and they all dressed sharp.
Right.
And they always did dress sharp. It's just that these guys are out of the playoffs.
Yeah. You know, the one thing, though, in that Edmonton game, Dad, that you have to give the Edmonton coach credit was it was game 4. They were down 3-1, and he pulls Skinner, and Campbell comes in and plays well, and Edmonton comes back and wins it. But then he went back with Skinner the next game.
Yeah.
And they won. So you could imagine if they put Skinner back in and they hammered Skinner, that might have cost him his job.
It's a touchy job, the coaching job in Edmonton, as we know.
Do you think that would be tough for him to walk up to say, Campbell, you're not playing?
No, I think that I think it'd be nice to go up to Skinner. I never had any problem. You
didn't care. You just got to win as a coach, right?
Yeah,
you
just
can't
win.
care about feelings. Well, Dad, let's talk about Winnipeg and Vegas, and the Jets went out in how many games? 5 games?
Holy boy, did that coach ever give it to them, Dad? And from a coach's point of view, how do you feel? Are you for the coach or for the players?
No, I don't. I just did not like it at all, and I think that he regrets he's saying it. And he was hot, and
do you want me to say what he said?
Yeah, go ahead.
He goes, so you could tell he was really hot because it was right after the game, which isn't a good.
He said, okay, let's get going on this.
Be short.
He says it's going to be short and sweet.
So he said, I'm so disappointed and disgusted right now. There has to be pride. You have to be able to push back when things aren't going our way. We had no pushback. Their better players were so much better than our better players. They deserve to win. They were a better team in the regular season, and they were a better team in this series.
So what? When you go to try to trade Blake Wheeler, what are they going to say? Well, he didn't play good for your coach. Why do you think he's going to play good for us?
But it's hard to believe that in January they were in first place.
I don't know, and it's hard to figure that team. Well, I believe that Hellebuck played too many games.
Yeah.
If you wanted to count the exhibition games, if you wanted to count all the rest of the games and everything, he played close to 70 games. When I had Cheevers, I tried and all the rest, and Gilbert and those guys, I tried to keep it around 43. We played 80 games scheduled. I tried to keep it 43, something in there. So they were really hot going into the playoffs.
So, Dad, funny thing is with the Jets, and bonus was meant, but they had the second best power play percentage. Unfortunately, they didn't get as many penalties called against for them. And they had one of the better penalty killing. And they were 50-50 with Vegas in the faceoff. So it just goes to show you stats really don't.
Stats mean nothing.
And going into this weekend, the Jets average more hits per game than any other team. So Vegas's backup goalie, Brossoit, he used to be the backup goalie for Hellebuck. So do you think he might have had a little bit of a...
I would assume that it matters in your mind, and it just picks you up a little bit when you know that you've been rebuffed, as they say.
So if you're Cheveldayoff, the general manager, what do you do?
Well, I don't know what you do. I never had a team like that, or I never was associated with a team like that. I've been in games where you knew that you're going to lose.
You watched that game. When we were sitting there, you came out and watched that game. In about 5 minutes into the game, you said, go down the spreads and put some money on Vegas, because he said there's no way the Jets are winning this game.
It's just something. Sometimes we'd play teams and we knew we were going to win. You just knew you were going to win. It's going to be a piece of cake. I don't know what it is.
There's nothing you can tell us on how you would know.
Like when you're behind the bench and you see that, like what's the first sign that things aren't going to go well?
I don't know. You just get a feel. If the other team is attacking all the time, and you're kind of sitting back flipping the puck out, you just know that you're not going to win.
And is it like,
it's an awful feeling.
I got I know that you're saying, but as a fan, if I was a Winnipeg Jet fan, like I would be 100% behind Bonus. Wheeler's making $8.5 million, and was like invisible in that game. And like, what is Bonus supposed to say? Okay, guys, if we lose this game tonight, we're out. So you better try extra hard. Like, and Wheeler's saying, oh, we didn't. He comes back. He says, you shouldn't have said that, but we just weren't. He didn't say we weren't prepared. He just said, we came out flat, and you go like, but how do you come out flat?
Well, there's two things on that thing. Either he's got 2 years left in his contract, Bonus, right?
Bonus, yeah.
Yeah, he's got 2 years left in his contract, or he just doesn't care. And he was hot, and he looks like he had a feud going with a couple of players there.
Yeah.
And it looks because you don't come out and say stuff like that.
Well, how do you so if you're the GM, you got to make a decision now. You either got to keep Wheeler or you got to keep Bonus. You can't keep both.
Well, Wheeler.
It's last year of his contract, so they
last year of his contract. But the only trouble is when you go and try to make a deal, they'll say, well, he couldn't get along with your coach. What you make you think he's going to get along with our coach?
Right.
Or Wheeler were jumping on him, and there was more guys than Wheeler that were in there.
Yeah.
But he looks like he's a good spokesman.
So, Cindy and Dad, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Spreads.ca. They're a Canadian-owned online casino and sportsbook. And if you sign up now and use the promo GRAPES, they'll match your deposit up to $500. You get 10 spins on the big wheel for some big dough, and your first sports bet, they'll spot you $25. So
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean,
support a Canadian company. Like, that's what you want. Like, why would you go on MGM and put the money into
their advertising budget?
Budget, yeah. And you got a Canadian company that the money goes back into Canada.
Some of those commercials are pretty good on.
Oh, they spend a lot of money on them. Chris Pronger's now, he's doing one.
Yeah, he's doing.
Did I hear a couple weeks ago that they were questioning now having these athletes that are active in the NHL doing their promo for? I
don't know.
I think they said that they're going to have to talk about it.
Well, like I mentioned that about 6 months ago that I thought that was a big problem.
Well, anyhow, Spread does a great job offering what they offer.
That's right, because I remember, as you say, we're watching that Winnipeg game. Dad says, "Go down, put $10 on Vegas because there's no way, the Jets are winning this game." The next series, Dad, we'll talk about is the Devils and the Rangers. What a series! In Game 7 on Monday night.
Boy, the first two games, I thought there's nobody stopping the New York Rangers. They were unbelievable.
Yeah, you look like they're going to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah,
and then the next three games, they didn't get a goal. I think
was Lindy Ruff put in Akira. How do you say that?
Akira Schmid.
Schmidt. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Over Vanek, he had a save percentage of .976 and a goals against average of 0.03 by 6.3.
Right, but he got kind of blown out last night. But two games. This is Sunday morning, so two games tonight. Boston and the Panthers. And you said about a month before the playoffs, right, Cindy? Dad kept saying, I just get a feel with the Bruins. I don't know. I just don't know what it is. I just get a feel with the Bruins going into the playoffs.
I don't know. One of the things that they did have 4 games there, they couldn't, but they never really had a slump. And I think going into this series, they just started to go into the slump a little bit.
Well,
they're pulling out of it.
Right. You kind of said to me when we were watching all year, say everything's going right for the Bruins.
Everything.
Everything, and then. Not in the playoffs.
No.
The first game, you said everyone was sort of praising them, and you said, I don't know about them. You were saying the first game,
but they still got a good team,
right? But we were saying with the breaks. Well, in that game 5, Ullman he screws up in overtime, and I think Kachuk scores, which probably pissed the Bruins off more than anything. And then the last game, the hand pass.
Whoever the guy that picked that up, how anybody could pick that up is beyond me. And it's true. The guy can't do it. I know he just pushed it with his glove, but that's in the rule book.
Yep. So in case you didn't see it, the puck went into the corner, and a Bruin and a Panther fell, and then the puck came out, and the Bruins scored to go up by a goal or 2 goals, and the video guy told Paul Maurice to challenge it for a hand pass, and everybody's going, hand pass.
And
the guy went to pick up his stick. The Bruin player went to pick up his stick, and his pinky just touched the puck and pushed
and he
it.
didn't mean to.
Didn't mean to, pushed it, and they called the goal back.
And they called it goal back. And that was a big goal.
Someone earned their salary.
That for sure.
Number one star, the video guy.
That's right. So tonight, this is Sunday morning, and game's at 6:30 tonight. So I got to edit this and put it up quick. But who are you picking tonight, Boston?
Well, I'm picking Boston. I'm still going with Boston. Boston, even though they are not playing at their top game, they still win.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to see the Bruins and the Leafs in the next round.
That would be good.
Yeah, good.
Well, the Leafs have a lot to prove against the Bruins. Remember that they beat them. They're up.
Yeah. How many times? Yeah, they were up by 4 goals in the third period.
Remember the results.
I remember poor Reimer laying on the ice after they scored it overtime.
I couldn't believe that one. Let's not go into that. That's not to go into. The Leafs won, and we're all happy.